after, I believe, let's talk a little bit about it. 1979, it was the late great Killer Kowalski and the late great Chuck O'Connor, who became Big John Studd. They were the WWF Tag Team Champions, managed by Albano. Ron, you came in, I think, right after their run as the Executioner. You had the same look, the tall, lean, muscular look as the Executioner, and you were the Masked Executioner, basically, Masked Executioner 3? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, because there'll be some conflict there that whether I was actually executioner number 3 or executioner number 4, because when Kowalski and Studd were doing that executioner gimmick, they were doing these little angles at the end where there was another executioner underneath the ring, okay, which was Nikolai Volkov, okay.
Wow, great story.
But that I don't know if you remember that, but that was just an angle that they were doing. And then they retired that gimmick. And then, one night, I think it was in December of 1980 or January of 1981, I was told to go down to the dressing room. I forget where it was. I want to say it was Allentown, and maybe it wasn't, a long time ago. But I do remember this because this is a great story, and it's something that will stick in my mind forever, is that Mr. Vincent McMahon himself, Sr., wanted to talk to me. And I thought, oh boy, what did I do? And he was a soft-spoken man. And he said, Ron, he goes, are you able to travel? I said, yes. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, I'm already doing traveling. I'm doing the territory, And he said, you're a natural at this. And I said, wow, to myself, calling me a natural doing this stuff. And I said, yes, sir. I said, I'm able to travel. Well, weeks went by at the TV, and Gorilla Monsoon came up to me and he says, Ron, he goes, get yourself that royal blue outfit with the Tarzan strap that Kowalski had worn when he was the Executioner. And I did. So I came up to the next taping or so, but by the time I got the tights and so forth. But I never had a pair of boots. I had those yellow pair of boots. And so I would borrow like somebody else's boots in the meantime to do it. And then Gorilla Monsoon comes up to me a couple more tapings ago. And matter of fact, let me show you this. I pulled this out of had to dust it off. Here is the original Executioner's mask.
Take a look at that, viewers and listeners. The original Masked Executioner hood. Big RonShaw is displaying it. That's freaking awesome, brother.
Yeah, and that's right, Joel. They call it the hood in the business here. So then Gorilla Monsoon says, Ron, he goes, you need a black pair of boots. So he gave me a pair of his old ones, and I would wear them if you could see these right now.
Wow.
They're probably a size 13 because the Gorilla Monsoon did wear these. The only problem is they were short, and I didn't like them this short. So what I did is I went to a shoe company, a shoe store, and I said, can you add on the leather? Which they did.
Wow. So those were
very, very high. I mean, just past my calf, as you can see.
Yeah.
And so those are the boots I wore for a year when I was working with Vince, and then back in 1990 when I started traveling all over the country, I was working as the Executioner and as RonShaw.
That's great, Ron. And folks that are listening and viewers, Gorilla Monsoon is one of the all-time greats. Gino Marella, and I'm talking about Gorilla Monsoon, one of the greats. And Ron's basically just showing us one of the boots that he wore that was Gorilla Monsoon's boots, and he put an extension to it because he wanted the extra support on the ankle and up to the calf, and he wore that. And what a tradition and what a story. RonShaw is here, big RonShaw, and you're not going to see it anywhere else, folks, but Wrestling with Comedy podcast. And we're going to talk a little more about RonShaw's done. He's done so much in his career. If you have any questions, send